The idea of living alone in later life can start to feel like a warning sign, but most people are unaware of this. Did you know that some of the happiest and most independent seniors live alone for years? People have been told to be afraid of it because they worry about loneliness. And what if something were to happen to them? Living alone as an older adult can actually bring you freedom, clarity, joy, and a deeper sense of control than you may have had in years. In fact, for many people, living alone is one of the most empowering stages of life. In this video, we'll examine 7 compelling reasons why. Stay with me through the end because you won't only hear why you shouldn't be afraid. I'm not trying to pretend that loneliness doesn't exist. Rather, I'm trying to show you how solitude, when embraced with purpose, can become a source of strength. If you've ever been concerned about what life might be like without someone else in the house, or if you're already living alone and wondering what that means for your future, this video will give you clarity, reassurance, and a fresh perspective on the road ahead. You'll learn how living alone may be the very thing that helps you grow, heal, and flourish in ways you never imagined. Let's start with the first: complete control over your time and space. Living alone gives you something back, something many people don't even realize they've lost. Your day is entirely yours from the moment you get up until you go to bed. That kind of freedom, no concessions, no bargaining, no one else's schedule to work around, may seem straightforward. But after years or even decades of providing care, housing others, or running a busy household, it becomes something rare and valuable. You get to choose when to eat, when to take breaks, when to clean or not, and how you want your living room to be set up. Keep your bedroom at the temperature you like, play the music you want, and set your own pace. When the outside world seems unpredictable, having that kind of independence within your own walls can be a quiet source of strength. I remember an 81-year-old man named Charles who lived with his daughter and son-in-law for 5 years, and even though they were in love, he always felt like a guest in his own life because he couldn't cook what he wanted to. His daughter was concerned when he moved into his own tiny flat, but after a few weeks he told her, "It's the first time in years I felt like myself." He wanted to watch his shows without feeling like he was bothering anyone, and even keep his room the way he liked it. Living alone in later life can feel like regaining your rhythm after years of adjusting to others. Of course, there will be times when support is needed, but when your own voice, values, and choices are the default setting of your day, you start to feel more rooted, present, and alive. In a society that frequently hurries older people into shared housing or assumes they can't manage on their own, choosing to live alone becomes a quiet declaration that I know who I am, I know how I live, and I trust myself to do it well. Second place, there is a certain stillness that only alone can provide, and it is in that stillness that many older folks find something they never imagined. When the house is peaceful and the schedule is your own, something significant starts to happen. Alone makes room for self-awareness and peace. As your thoughts calm down, your feelings gradually arise, and you start to hear yourself more clearly in the silence. Living alone does not necessarily mean loneliness. In fact, it can be one of the most enriching emotional environments you will ever experience if you approach it with openness rather than fear. Without the constant hum of someone else's voice or presence, you begin to reconnect with what matters to you, your memories, regrets, and hopes, even now. Her house had always been full, but when her youngest son moved out and she found herself living alone for the first time in decades, she panicked. "I didn't know who I was without someone else around," she told me. But within 6 months, she began journaling, taking walks in the outdoors, and even practicing meditation, a habit she used to mock. "I've met parts of myself I like who I'm meeting," she continued, "and I never knew you were there." The quiet power of living alone is that it removes the distractions and makes you sit by yourself. It's not punishment, but impossibility. You learn to entertain yourself and to listen to your body, memories, and spirit deeply. In doing so, you frequently find healing that was impossible when life was full of distractions. This is not to say that every moment will feel like a scene from a movie. Some days will be heavy, some light, but they will all be yours. It's not punishment, but impossibility. Once you start to feel safe in your own company, the fear of being alone begins to fade because you realize that you are not empty, forgotten, lost, or lost. You are here. Please let me know in the second remark below whether you're still watching this video and find these insights helpful. Whether you haven't subscribed yet, I suggest doing so and turning on the bell so you don't miss any more videos. Your assistance enables us to keep producing quality information that will educate and motivate you. Let's proceed. Number 3, partnerships become more purposeful and significant. The way that living alone changes your relationships is one of the underappreciated advantages of living alone. The connections you maintain become deeply intentional. You're not surrounded by people out of habit or proximity. You reach out because you want to, and others do the same. That shift can lead to a kind of authenticity that many people don't experience until later in life. When you're on your own, you get to choose your social energy. You get to decide when to rest, when to engage, and who to spend time with. There's no obligation to entertain or respond to someone just because they're in the next room. And that space allows you to be more present when you do connect. You listen more, you share more, you speak not out of duty, but from the heart. I once knew a man named Everett, 83, who had spent most of his adult life in a noisy, full household. After his wife passed and his children moved away, he found himself living alone for the first time in 50 years. At first he dreaded it, but as time passed he began calling old friends just to catch up. He joined a small group at the library. He sent handwritten letters to his grandchildren. Funny thing, he told me one day, I might feel more connected than I have in years, yet I also feel more alone. That is the strength of purposeful interaction. Whether it's with an old friend, a neighbor, or someone you meet at the senior center, every interaction has more weight because it's your choice, and that choice matters. It boosts your confidence and reminds you that even though you live alone, you're not alone. You're involved and participating. You're building a social life based on value rather than obligation. If you're afraid that living alone will cause you to be forgotten or left out, think about this. It might actually bring you closer. Your habits remain wholly your own. The freedom to follow your own natural rhythm when living alone in old age is one of the most liberating aspects of life. Since no one else shares your space, meal times don't need to be planned. You get to go through your day according to how your body feels your energy, rather than adjusting the thermostat to someone else's comfort level, or being quiet in the morning out of courtesy. That kind of alignment has a therapeutic effect on your appetite and mood, since you are no longer influenced by the habits or tastes of others. I knew a woman named Jean, 79, who had spent the majority of her adult life adapting to her husband's night owl routine. Dinner was always late, the TV was on all the time, and she never realized how much it affected her sleep and energy, until she found herself living alone for the first time. Within a few months, she naturally started rising with the sun, walking before breakfast and going to bed by 9 o'clock. I feel 10 years younger, she said. You wake when you're rested, you eat when you're hungry, you rest when you're exhausted, and you start to listen more deeply to your own body. Living alone allows you to get back to your own rhythm, which may seem like a minor thing, but it provides a great deal of calm, since you don't have to justify your habits or make room for someone else's. It turns out that I was always a morning person. I simply never had the opportunity to live like one. Speed. You just live your life as it is, and that consistency makes everything else fall into place. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights useful, please leave a comment number 4 below to let me know you're here. If you haven't subscribed yet, I suggest you do so and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. When you honor your own timing, you're more in tune with life. You stop rushing, you stop suppressing, you stop bending over backwards just to keep the peace, and you begin living in a way that makes peace from within. Freedom from challenging familial situations. Living alone in old age can offer something many don't expect: emotional relief. As we age, some seniors find themselves living with adult children, in-laws, or extended family members, often out of necessity or cultural expectation. And while some of those arrangements are warm and supportive, others are tense, draining, or even quietly painful. When you live under someone else's roof, or have others living under yours, you give up a certain emotional freedom. You might hold your tongue to keep the peace. You might feel like a guest in your own home. You may feel like you're constantly being monitored or managed, even with good intentions. That stress builds over time,
wearing down your confidence and your sense of self. I remember a man named Henry, 82, who moved in with his daughter and her family after a hospital stay. They all meant well, but he told me, felt like I was on someone else's schedule. Every movement felt like I had to ask permission. I wasn't sick anymore, but I wasn't free either. Eventually, he moved into a small apartment nearby, and though he had fewer physical comforts, he said he finally felt at ease again. That ease is important. Emotional safety matters just as much as physical safety. And sometimes the best thing you can do for your health is to create space from the stress that comes with constant negotiation, unspoken animosity, or a sense of hardship. Living alone eliminates the background noise of emotional strain. You don't have to constantly manage complex family relationships or tread carefully. But isolation doesn't completely eliminate all difficulties. One significant benefit is that it relieves you of the burden of continuously managing relationships within your own home, giving you more time to rediscover your own ideals. Number 6, you start to trust your gut again and stop questioning every decision because someone else might not agree with you. Peace grows in that space, not because everything is flawless, but because the environment around you finally allows you enhanced fortitude and self-assurance. There are frequently unexpected advantages to living alone in an older life. When you take on daily tasks without depending on others, you start to develop resilience. Once difficult tasks, like changing a light bulb, paying a bill, or handling an unexpected repair, become quiet affirmations that help you grow in confidence. The more you embrace your independence, the stronger you feel, both physically and emotionally. You start to understand that your age doesn't define your capabilities. You may move more slowly or need to make different plans, but you are still capable. I can still do this. Confidence doesn't come all at once. It grows with each little accomplishment. Still in command. She was afraid when she had to manage the finances, talk to repairmen, and take care of her medications alone. But after a year, something changed. She started keeping a notebook of all the things she accomplished, no matter how small, because I wanted to prove to myself I could do it, she said. Every entry reminded her that she was stronger than her fear. This is what happens when you live alone with intention. You stop waiting for someone else to fix it. You stop doubting your instincts, and you develop a sort of self-assurance that many people spend their entire lives sort of self. It's not about never needing help. It's about not needing permission. It's about not needing permission. It's about meeting each day as it is, and knowing that you're still capable of handling it. When you live alone, that kind of resilience manifests itself in your speech, your movements, and your perception of yourself as someone. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights useful, please leave a comment below. Number 6, to let me know you're here. If you haven't subscribed yet, I suggest you do so, and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support enables us to keep producing high-quality content that will inspire and teach people. Let's move on to number 7, which is the rediscovery of lost passions and interests. Living alone doesn't just give you peace. It gives you room to rediscover who you were before the world got so loud. When the house is quiet and the schedule is yours, you may find that long-forgotten passions begin to resurface. Old hobbies, creative projects, simple joys that got buried under years of work, caregiving or compromise. And now with time and space, they quietly call you back. Many older adults are surprised to find that living alone under years of work, painting, gardening, journaling, or playing music, maybe it's something you never tried before, because there's always someone else's need to meet. First, I once met a man named Ralph, 80, who spent most of his adult life running a hardware store. After retiring and losing his wife, he found himself completely alone and unsure what to do with the silence. One day he picked up a set of watercolor paints his granddaughter had left behind within months. He was painting every morning. "I didn't even know I liked this," he said, "but now it's how I start my day with color." That kind of discovery isn't just therapeutic, it's transformative. It reminds you that you are still growing, still learning, still capable of joy and surprise. And it's often living alone that makes that space possible, because when no one else is setting the tone of your day,
You finally have the freedom to follow your own spark. And it's not just about productivity. Sometimes it's about finding comfort in the little things, rewatching your favorite movies, rereading the books that influenced you, or preparing that one dish that only you know how to prepare perfectly, are small acts of self-love that strengthen your sense of self and serve as a reminder that when you live alone, you're not only killing time, but are creating meaning. As we wrap up this video, I want to leave you with one simple truth. Living alone in old age is not something to be afraid of. Rather, it's something to understand, embrace, and in many cases cherish. Because the real question isn't whether you live with others, but rather whether you're living fully. Once you regain your time, space, rhythm, and voice, life starts to feel like it's truly yours again. We've gone over 7 compelling reasons why living alone might be one of the most liberating decisions you've ever made. From rediscovering forgotten passions to regaining confidence and peace, each reason serves as a reminder that solitude is not emptiness. Rather, it's a space, and space is where growth, healing, and self-respect often begin. I hope you now see that you're not behind, you're not broken, you're not missing anything. You're simply in a different season of life, one that comes with its own kind of beauty, strength, and wisdom. And if you're considering living alone, but fear the unknown, I hope you now know that it's not isolation that waits for you, it's potential. You are not too old to begin. Again, you are not too late to feel peace, and you are certainly not too alone. To live meaningfully every day you choose to show up for yourself, to care, to reflect, to grow is a day you're choosing life. Not just survival, but life with dignity, freedom, and purpose. Thank you for joining us today. We'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment below and share one thing you learned today and how you plan to use it in your life. Your thoughts are important to us, so don't hesitate to share them. Reading your comments gives us great motivation and encouragement. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please like, subscribe, and share. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Thanks for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.